Have you ever heard the saying, "The loudest person in the room is often the most insecure"? This phrase is more than just a catchy saying. It holds a deep psychological truth that can be explained through the lens of compensation theory. Compensation theory is a concept in psychology that suggests individuals often try to cover up their perceived weaknesses or insecurities by excelling in other areas. This theory can be observed in various aspects of life, from personal relationships to professional environments. For instance, someone who feels inadequate in their social skills might pour all their energy into their career, striving to be the best in their field. This overachievement in one area serves as a way to compensate for the lack they feel in another. Imagine someone who feels weak or powerless in their personal life. They might experience a sense of frustration and helplessness that they find difficult to overcome. To counteract these feelings, they might seek positions of authority or control in their professional life. By directing others and making decisions, they create an illusion of strength and power that compensates for their inner vulnerabilities. This behavior is a form of psychological compensation, where the individual attempts to balance their self-perceived deficiencies by excelling or exerting control in other areas. It's a coping mechanism that can provide temporary relief but doesn't address the root cause of their insecurities. Compensation can manifest in a multitude of ways, depending on the individual's personality and circumstances. Some might turn to academic achievements, while others might focus on physical fitness or artistic endeavors, and in the context of this video, even gang stalking. For example, a person who feels undervalued in their personal relationships might become a workaholic, spending long hours at the office to gain recognition and validation from their colleagues and superiors. Others might seek validation through material possessions or social status. They might buy expensive cars, wear designer clothes, or attend exclusive events to project an image of success and confidence. While these behaviors aren't always harmful, they can become problematic when they stem from a place of deep insecurity. The constant need to prove oneself can lead to stress, burnout, and strained relationships. In some cases, compensation can take a darker turn. Individuals who feel profoundly inadequate may resort to controlling and manipulative behaviors to assert dominance over others. These individuals might use manipulation, deceit, or even aggression to maintain a sense of control. Their actions can create toxic environments, whether at home, work, or in social settings. This desire for control can become all-consuming, leading to harmful actions that impact both the individual and those around them. It's important to recognize these patterns and address the underlying insecurities to foster healthier behaviors and relationships. Narcissism is a personality disorder characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. This condition often manifests in behaviors that are self-centered and manipulative. Narcissists tend to view themselves as superior to others, believing that they are entitled to special treatment and privileges. They often disregard the feelings and needs of those around them, focusing solely on their own desires and ambitions. Behind this grandiose facade often lies a fragile ego and deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. Despite their outward confidence, many narcissists struggle with intense feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. They may constantly seek validation from others to shore up their fragile self-esteem, often going to great lengths to maintain their image of superiority. Narcissists often crave power and control as a way to validate their self-worth and mask their inner insecurities. This hunger for power can drive them to seek positions of authority and influence, where they can exert control over others and receive the admiration they crave. They may be drawn to careers in politics, business, or entertainment, where their need for recognition and dominance can be fulfilled. Imagine a hollow shell, beautiful on the outside but empty within. This metaphor captures the essence of narcissism. While narcissists may present a polished and attractive exterior, their inner world is often devoid of genuine self-worth and emotional depth. They may rely on external validation to feel good about themselves, constantly seeking praise and admiration to fill the void within. That's what narcissism can be like. The mask they wear hides their true feelings of inadequacy and vulnerability. They may project an image of confidence and self-assurance, but beneath the surface they are often plagued by self-doubt and fear of rejection. This disconnect between their public persona and private reality can lead to a sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction. These individuals often feel empty and insecure inside. Despite their outward success and achievements, they may struggle with feelings of loneliness and isolation. Their inability to form genuine connections with others can leave them feeling unfulfilled and disconnected. They may have difficulty experiencing true intimacy and empathy, further exacerbating their sense of emptiness. They use others to fill that void and make themselves feel powerful. Narcissists often exploit their relationships for personal gain, manipulating and controlling those around them to achieve their own ends. They may use charm and charisma to win people over, only to discard them once they are no longer useful. This pattern of behavior can leave a trail of broken relationships and hurt feelings in their wake. They crave admiration, validation, and control to compensate for their inner emptiness. This constant need for external validation can drive them to seek out positions of prominence and recognition. They may go to great lengths to ensure that they are the center of attention, often engaging in attention-seeking behaviors and grandiose displays of self-importance. This need for control can manifest in various ways, from subtle manipulation to outright abuse. Narcissists may use tactics such as gaslighting, guilt-tripping, and emotional blackmail to maintain their dominance over others. They may also engage in more overt forms of abuse, such as verbal and physical aggression, to assert their power and control. Narcissists may belittle others, demand constant attention, or exploit others to achieve their goals. Their behavior can be damaging to those around them, leading to a toxic and unhealthy environment. They may create conflict and drama to keep others off balance and maintain their sense of superiority. Their relentless pursuit of their own interests often comes at the expense of others' well-being. Their actions are driven by a desperate need to maintain a sense of superiority and control over their environment and the people in it. This need for dominance can lead to a cycle of manipulation and exploitation, where the narcissist's behavior becomes increasingly harmful and destructive. Understanding the underlying motivations of narcissism can help us recognize and address these behaviors, fostering healthier and more empathetic relationships. Narcissists often feel threatened by others' independence and autonomy. They perceive any challenge to their authority as a personal attack on their fragile ego. To maintain a sense of superiority, they resort to controlling others. This control can take many forms, including manipulation, intimidation, and emotional abuse. Imagine a puppeteer controlling their marionettes. Narcissists often view others as pawns in their game, manipulating them to get what they want. They thrive on power and control, using it to regulate their self-esteem and mask their deep-seated insecurities. By controlling others, narcissists create a world where they feel safe, admired, and in charge. They surround themselves with people who validate their inflated sense of self and cater to their needs. This need for control stems from their fear of exposure and vulnerability, driving them to maintain a tight grip on their carefully constructed facade. Mind games and manipulation tactics of control. In this section, we delve into the dark and insidious world of gang stalking, where perpetrators use a variety of psychological and physical tactics to exert control over their victims. These tactics are designed to create a pervasive sense of fear, confusion, and helplessness, ultimately breaking down the victim's mental and emotional resilience. Gang stalking often involves a combination of psychological manipulation and real-world harassment tactics. The goal is to make the victim feel constantly watched and threatened, eroding their sense of safety and security. This can lead to severe anxiety, paranoia, and even depression. Stalkers may spread rumors, vandalize property, or make threatening phone calls to intimidate their victim. These actions are not random, but are part of a calculated strategy to destabilize the victim's life. The damage to property serves as a constant reminder of the stalker's presence and power, while threatening phone calls can disrupt the victim's peace of mind at any time. They may also employ gaslighting techniques, making the victim question their sanity and perception of reality. Gaslighting is a particularly cruel form of psychological abuse, as it undermines the victim's confidence in their own thoughts and feelings. Over time, the victim may begin to doubt their own memories and judgments, becoming increasingly reliant on the stalker for a distorted sense of reality. Imagine a spider web, slowly ensnaring its victim. Each thread represents a different tactic used to trap the target in a web of fear and confusion. The more the victim struggles, the more entangled they become, making it increasingly difficult to break free. Gang stalking tactics are designed to trap the target in a web of fear and confusion, making them doubt themselves and their sanity. The constant barrage of harassment and manipulation can leave the victim feeling trapped and powerless, unable to find a way out of the maze of torment. This constant state of fear and uncertainty can have devastating consequences for the victim's mental and emotional well-being. The stress and anxiety caused by gang stalking can lead to a range of mental health issues, including depression, panic attacks, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Victims may also experience physical symptoms such as insomnia, headaches, and gastrointestinal problems. Examples of control tactics used in gang stalking include surveillance, following the victim, monitoring their online activity. These actions are designed to create a sense of omnipresence, making the victim feel as though they are never truly alone. The constant surveillance can be incredibly invasive, stripping the victim of their privacy and autonomy. Slander, spreading rumors, damaging the victim's reputation. By tarnishing the victim's reputation, stalkers aim to isolate them from their social support network. Friends, family, and colleagues may begin to distance themselves from the victim, believing the false narratives spread by the stalkers. This social isolation can exacerbate the victim's feelings of loneliness and vulnerability. Harassment, making threatening phone calls, sending harassing messages. These direct forms of communication are meant to instill fear and anxiety in the victim. The unpredictability of when and how these threats will occur can keep the victim in a constant state of alertness, unable to relax or feel safe. Gaslighting, denying reality, making the victim question their sanity. This tactic is particularly insidious because it attacks the victim's sense of self. By constantly denying the victim's experiences and perceptions, the stalker can make the victim feel as though they are losing their grip on reality. And intimidation, vandalizing property, making threats of violence. These actions are designed to create a climate of fear and intimidation, making the victim feel as though they are in constant danger. The physical damage to property serves as a tangible reminder of the stalker's presence and power. These tactics aim to isolate the victim, making them feel alone and vulnerable. By cutting the victim off from their support network, the stalkers can increase their control over the victim's life. The victim may feel as though they have no one to turn to for help or support. The constant fear and uncertainty can have a devastating impact on the victim's mental and emotional health. Over time, the relentless harassment and manipulation can erode the victim's sense of self-worth and hope, leaving them feeling broken and defeated. It is crucial for victims to seek support and help to break free from the cycle of abuse and regain control over their lives.